Happy Memorial Day, everyone, and welcome to a Monday Mindset Mastery. William Tate is my guest today, and he is having a little bit of technical difficulty. So I am waiting for him to connect. He had to restart his computer, yet I didn't want to keep you hanging. So we will be here as soon as possible to sign on this wonderful Memorial Day. But first, I did want to wish everyone. I know Memorial Day is in memory of those who have lost, so saying Happy Memorial Day doesn't quite seem right. But I do want to tell and wish everyone, the start of a great summer, because that is what Memorial Day has become to many of us. And also gratitude for all of those who have served for us and who have lost their life on our behalf. William is a retired Army, former Green Beret, so I'm really excited to have him here in a few minutes. And hopefully he will be able to start and join us very soon. If not, I will talk today and we will reschedule it. So I definitely don't want to have to worry about William not being here and about us missing out on this Monday Mindset Mastery. The topic today was purposeful leadership. And I can tell you, I'm going to have William's opinion, but for me, a leader is not someone who necessarily has people under them, has a managerial role. We can all be leaders, and leaders are not born. I mean, some people are born as natural leaders, but we have the ability to all be leaders. And William is here. Hi, William. We are already live because I didn't want to keep our audience waiting, but I am glad you made it. So as I was just talking about welcome to Purposeful Leadership on this Memorial Day, and my special guest here is William Tate. William is a retired Army Green Beret. He's now a philanthropist and does more. And I'm going to let William introduce himself, tell us a little bit about his journey and where he came to be where he is today.
Thank you, Lori. Sorry about the technical challenges, but it's kind of what we do. We adapt, improvise, and overcome. So before I get to a little bit more about me, I want to recognize Memorial Day and say what that is, and from a soldier's perspective. I get often asked, "Hey, tell me, I'm kind of a little bit confused. What's the difference in Memorial Day and Veterans Day?" Well, as you said in the intro, my brief intro that you said, I'm an Army veteran. I'm also a retired Army, and Memorial Day or Veterans Day in November is a day that we recognize our veterans, the ones who served. Memorial Day are the ones that gave all. They gave the ultimate sacrifice. They died either in the field of service or some kind of military operation. And so we want to memorialize those that came before us and made our great American freedoms available today. So that's why we have Memorial Day, to take a few moments and think in memory of those that came before us. They gave us these great American freedoms to communicate and have a free speech and do like we're doing today. And so God bless America, and God bless our veterans that are military people who made the ultimate sacrifice. So thank you, Lori.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really beautiful. And I mean, I think that's perfect for our topic today, which we will get to eventually, because truly the topic of purposeful leadership, those who were willing to serve our country and give their life for our freedoms, are purposeful leaders. They're probably one of the best examples of what can be a purposeful leader, because they gave everything to lead, and to basically get our freedom. So I think that's beautiful. And yeah, please remember all of those who have served and lost their lives, given their lives so that we can be where we are today, which, clearly it's not perfect, but I'd rather be here than anywhere else.
Clearly, exactly. So I want to go back to, you gave me an opportunity to introduce myself to your audience, and I'm honored to be here. So I'll start by saying, who am I? I'm a father. I like to consider myself a fantastic father, a heavenly husband, and a family man times three. There's my wonderful wife, Galena. There's our 8-year-old son, Andrew, and Galena's mother. She's from Ukraine. She's the last one in the family. Her husband, my wife's father, and her only brother, her only son, died in the war with the Russian invasion. So it's this whole thing about Ukrainian war. It's not distance to me. It's in my house. It's literally, I have a Ukrainian widow in my house as an everyday reminder that freedom isn't free, and we should all enjoy the freedoms that those U.S. people who we honor on Memorial Day, who died in the sacrifice of our freedom. We also should honor those Ukrainian freedom fighters who died in the sacrifice, ongoing sacrifice of just wanting to be free in Ukraine. So that's my family man, to include my mother-in-law. And then I also like to say that, what I've done in the past. And as you said, I'm a retired Army Green Beret. I did missions in Africa, Middle East, Central America, Europe, a couple of Gulf War tours, and then retired after the Forces Reduction Act reduced my unit and I got out. But I took all of those memories with me about leadership and spiritual mission and vision. And it ties in with what we talk about today in this purposeful leadership, this where what I'm trying to provide and what you're trying to provide with your tribe is having this clear sense of mission, values, long-term vision, and clarity, moral clarity on what the big picture is. We should all start with we end in mind, Covey's habit number 2 in the 7 Habits book. If you begin with the end in mind, to me, that means your eulogy. What are people going to say about you at your funeral? So if you start there and have that big picture, and you can work backwards.
I love that. Yeah, we all think about that. And, so many people, no one ever said it. I never heard anyone say at a funeral, oh, they worked really hard. They put in the long hours. That's not really what's important to most of us. It's really more the impact you have and the people you touch that are things that you remembered from. And that, to me, that's truly what a leader is. A leader is someone who makes the people around them better, who touches the people around them and it helps people around them achieve their goals. It's not about you. A leader is truly someone who serves more than someone who, is just being a boss or being a manager or kind of taking it upon themselves. It's what they do for other people.
Absolutely. And you got to have a good fit. So another thing I did was I was a Tony Robbins Wealth Mastery Coach. I was one of Tony's first 3, in fact, way back in 1996 and 1997. When Tony got involved in, he was offering life mastery, and then he decided to offer wealth mastery, and he needed folks who sort of were in this space. And so I was proud to be one of his first 3 25 years ago. Now, Tony and I have both gone on and did different things, but I still remember he was sort of my introduction to the coaching world. And then after that, I ended up at Morgan Stanley as a manager, trainer, and financial advisor in Silicon Valley. And it was during the rise of the .com and then the fall of the .com, what we like to call .com, .gone in the late 99s and 2000s. And so I learned also about not every good idea is a good idea. There's things that make sense and they're not. But my point is around leadership, around this purposeful leadership. You can throw money in an idea. At the end of the day, what are you going to do when everything's going great and moving up? That's easy leadership. When things are going south, when things are going down, that's when you need that moral leadership, that moral strength, that strength of character. There's a new book out that General McChrystal came out with just this month, I think, and it's called On Character, and he talks about the importance of character. So I recommend that book to everyone.
Yeah, no, character is definitely important, and I love the fact that you talk about when things are going bad, because that's one of the things I do in my coaching program, and what I do is my why is that I believe the world is an amazing place, and that everyone should live an extraordinary life, and we all have that capability. And the biggest part about that is to live that extraordinary life, that joyful life, that calm and that peace, when everything around you is falling apart, because that's when you've truly made it. When you can experience that, as you said, it's easy to experience that when things are going well, but when things are falling apart around you, when you're struggling, when that you can still find that, because that is truly what it is. When you are a leader, when you are at peace, is it doesn't matter what's going on around you, it's what's inside of you that really makes a difference. So.
You remind me of the Rudyard Kipling poem about when those around you are losing their heads and blaming you. You need to be this calm, this stoic in the storm, and you'll get through it, and you'll be recognized as the leader. So especially nowadays, I mean, with all the lack of character with some of our leaders, it really makes me crazy. But again, I'm like you and I, Simon Sinek says, the goal of business is not to do business with everybody. It's to do business with people who believe what you believe. And if you believe that purposeful leadership and character matters, then that's our tribe. And the ones that don't, the ones that follow these false prophets, because somehow they benefit financially from them, then that's not our tribe. And we should have to recognize that. So again, life's too short. You and I are both. You're a little bit younger than I am, but I've got more years behind me than I do ahead. And so at the end of the day, at my eulogy, I want to be known as that purposeful leader, as that man of character. And so I'm going to politely disengage from those people that follow these false prophets, and I won't name them, but they're
use your imagination. Yes. You talk about your age and that you probably have less years ahead, but I know you have an 8-year-old, which keeps you young, I'm sure, William.
I'm trying to lead by example. That's right. So, Lori, I want to honor your group, but I wanted to talk a little bit about how you and I ended up in Florida together at the Soulful Leadership Retreat in Miami, where we started this journey together, I guess about 6 months ago, or not even. But when I was down there, I didn't know what I didn't know. I'm kind of new in the coaching space, except, Tony Robbins 25 years ago, but I've never sort of been in my own space. And what I recognized is that when I was in Silicon Valley, the reason I did so well was I could be able to retire at age 43 and move on to my spiritual mission in philanthropy, was to sponsor orphans in Ukraine. So I've been doing that ever since I moved there. I left Silicon Valley in 2005 and moved to Ukraine to help orphanages and the startup community, because there's a lot of Soviet Russian influence there, and I wanted to show them sort of the Silicon Valley way, right? But ever since, I've stuck with helping Ukrainian orphanages, and it's been 19 years. So I'm happy and proud of that. But my sort of backstory on that was that while I left management at Morgan, I needed to start over, and so what I did was I taught the attorneys and accountants continuing education. I taught them California Prudent Investment Act and philanthropy. And as a result, they would bring me in on all their philanthropy cases, because I would be sort of the gap filler between what I call the flat folks, the financial, legal, accounting, tax, which they were, the attorneys and accountants and the financial people, and then what I call the fact folks. The facts are the facilitators, the advisors, and the advocates. I'm a big fan of Erin Brockovich, because she was a strong advocate for her tribe. And that's another story, another day. C is a coach, and then T is trainer. So coaching and training, there's some distinctions, but not many. That's the fact folks. So I would be the gap between that client that would, like the Clampetts, money didn't ruin them. They just got a mansion in a cement pond, right? So they would be like, okay, my stock options hit, or my business sold, and God gave me $50 million or $100 million. I don't want my life to change. I don't want to go to divorce court. I don't want my kids in rehab and recovery. I don't want money to spoil us. I want it to be an enhancement, a multiplier of who we are. So as a result, I got all those cases, about 30 clients. We were able to generate $290 million in philanthropy. And 20 years ago, that was a pretty good bit of money. It's still solid money today, but 20 years ago, $290 million in philanthropy, because of I was a hero to the attorneys and accountants. I just helped, fill in the gaps and the blanks and translate that. But as a result, I was able to generate enough fees so I could, again, retire at 43, move to Ukraine, and fulfill on my spiritual mission. But I love traveling. I started traveling with the military, of course, with the Army, missions, all over the world, 90 plus countries. so far, and I love cruising. Cruising's my favorite way. We take the boat over in the spring and we go to Ukraine, and we go to Europe, and we come back in the fall. This way we've been doing it for many years. And it's a great way to do a retreat as well. So if we have a few minutes, we'll talk about that. But I know that you're into retreats, and God bless you for I think it's Honduras coming up in October.
Yes, I have a retreat coming up in October. It's called Plunge into Possibilities, or actually September, not October, September, Plunge into Possibilities. And it's in Utila, which is a small island off the coast of Honduras. Many people have heard about Roatan. Utila is next to Roatan, but about 1/10 of the size. So it's a little more personal, a little more, you really get to know the community. And the retreat is going to incorporate scuba diving for mindset shift for even people who are not certified in scuba will get a chance to experience it and to do some exercise underwater. It's going to include some community service. We want to give back to the local folks, and it really will be transformative to, if you're kind of in that place where you're doing well, you have a good business, but you're just kind of like living a meh life, and you've lost that spark. You really don't feel all that excited. We're going to transform you so you come back excited and really ready to jump in, and you get back that love of life. So that's the whole purpose of my retreat. But yeah, I love retreats. I actually am launching a business to help other people do their retreats. People who want to host a retreat but don't want to deal with the details, don't want to deal with the location, the logistics, don't want to put the schedule together. I do all that for them, and they just show up and be brilliant. And I'm really excited about that because I get to do what I love, and I get to magnify my reach, where I'm not only helping my tribe, but I'm helping other people help their tribes live extraordinary lives and really connect with what their purpose is.
Well, that's why we're so connected in a spiritual way, Lori. And by the way, I don't know if I ever asked you, it was my first retreat down in Florida where we met, and we spent some time together, especially the last day, doing the fun pool activities. But what was your purpose? Why did you go? And you'd been before, correct?
That was my first time at that event as well. And my purpose was really to make connections, to meet other people. The retreat that William's talking about is the Soulful Leadership Retreat, which is held every February down in Orlando. And it's a much larger retreat. So, it is a retreat, but it's not when I think of a retreat,
like a workshop.
For 10, 20 people, very intimate. This was probably a couple hundred, maybe, or 150 or so. So it wasn't more of a conference in some ways, but it was a retreat in that it brought heart-centered, soulful people together. And I thought, those are people I want to meet. Those are people I can connect with. I thought we would share the same values. So it was a great opportunity to go to that event and meet people. So why did you decide to go, William?
Well, that was our tribe, and I didn't know what I didn't know. But when I got down there, as you mentioned on our last day together, when we were, hanging out at the pool and doing pool stuff, you said, so many folks in the coaching business, they talk about a strategy, a product, a service, an offering. They don't ever talk about an audience. You're the first coach I've met that has a specific targeted audience. And I was like, well, thank you, Lauren, because in your mind, everything makes sense, but sometimes you have difficulty expressing it. It's sort of like you can't see the label from inside the bottle, right? Mm-hmm. So my audience are those heart-centered, mission-driven millionaire philanthropists. And God bless America, right? There's 24 million millionaires in the U.S., 24 million. There's 1.5 million that have 10 million or more, like decamillion. So I'm going to do a little bit of math, okay, and talk about why this audience is so important. So if you were to take 1 second for times 1 million seconds, how long would that take to run? Like second, one. If you did a million of those, what would that be? Do you have any idea? It's days.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a week.
11.5 days is 1 million seconds. Okay. Now, a billion, any idea what 1 billion seconds would be? That's 1,000 million.
Right. That's probably like 3 years.
31.5 years.
Oh, wow.
31.5. All right. I got one more.
Change.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, exactly. Going from 1 million to billion. Let's go to 1 trillion. What is 1 trillion seconds? That's 1,000 billion.
That's going to be 1,000 years, maybe.
It's 31,000 years, 31,710 years to be exact. 31,710 years of seconds. Okay, so 1,011.5 days, 1,000,000,000 31 and a half years. Okay, you could be, be in the same, you could be born and see a couple of a billion, right? But 1 trillion, no. We haven't been on the planet that long.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give you some perspective. So the idea being that, do you have any idea how big, if you did all the private wealth in US, what that would total? Just ballpark.
Probably in the trillions.
It is. It's 122 trillion, give or take a few, right? On any given day, 122 trillion. Let that sink in for a minute. Okay. Now, over the next 20 to 25 years, the greatest generation, the baby boomers, are going to go. The greatest generational wealth transfer in the history of the world, never happened before, never will happen again. That will mean upwards of 90 trillion. 90 trillion will leave the folks that have got it and go to the next generations. Neither side is ready. Mom and dad are not ready. The next generation, their grandkids, they're not ready. They need good coaches. They need good gap fillers. So here's the other thing. Some people say, "Well, William, you're a guy. Why do you have a preference for women?" Well, we all know women make better coaches, advisors, realtors, all those things, because you have the relationship. You'll slow down. You'll ask better questions. You'll follow the recipe book. Guys are like, recipe schmecipe. We'll figure this out along the way. I love my gender and I'm a guy's guy, right? But in terms of coaching, you're just better. And statistically, I'll make my wife a widow. So I honor my 3 sisters, my mother and her mother, who had a big influence on me, my grandmother. So every time I help a woman or woman coach, I honor them. Okay. So bless you and your gender. Right. But what I'm saying is before that 90 trillion passes, it makes a stop. About 47 trillion of that will stop at the widow. Okay. So for you ladies out there, when you have that relationship with that widow who's going to pass either 1 million or 10 million or more, but it's all going to total up in US, God bless America, right? Trillions and trillions of dollars over the next 20, 25 years. So I want to help coaches to be in this demographic shift, to recognize. And my shock was not one person over those 3-day event even mentioned this, except for me. Maybe because of my background, maybe because of, my studies, maybe because I do family wealth transfer and philanthropy, and coaches just coach. But this is what I'm trying to lead my tribe to do. Whatever you're doing, Lori, whatever your tribe is doing, if you're a coach, it's so much easier to deal with one of those 24 or even 1.5 million that have the money to spend on these things. So I know in the interest of time, we're gonna have to wrap it up, but real quick, I'll give you the demographic part is that 1/3 of the millionaires will spend half on self-development, self-improvement, coaching programs, retreats, family-friendly travel, anything that they can do to enhance their relationship, 1/3 of them. So that means 24 million and 8 million are self-identified as mission-driven millionaire philanthropists, already have causes. They'll spend, okay, so one more thing about math. If you have $1 million and you can earn 8% net of fees and taxes, that's 800,000. It's 80,000 a year. Okay. If you spend half, that's 40,000 towards coaching programs, self-development retreats, 40,000 a year in and year out. If you have 10 million, okay, that's a third. That's 1.5 million. There's 500,000 folks out there that are mission-driven millionaires, millionaire next door. You'd never know it. That will spend 800,000 or earn 800,000. Will spend half of that, 400,000 on the same stuff. So all I'm doing is pairing. I'm the matchmaker. I will show you how to have that relationship with the millionaire next door. So when it's time to go on retreat, to do coaching programs, whatever, they're ready to go. And how many do you need of them to earn a career? I say 5.
1 or 2, 1 or 2, 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you and I are going to connect. I know you're going a big travel, but we can connect by email and such because I have retreats that are $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000, and trying to find people with that money is often difficult.
Yep.
But here you've got people that have that money. that are looking for those coaches. So and you're not coaching, you're the connector putting the two together. You're coaching the coaches or you're connecting the two. Is that accurate?
Well, I'm trying to be the matchmaker because when I was in Silicon Valley, the attorneys and accountants brought me on a case. I never prospect. I never did a sales call. I was brought in on the case. Again, I left, earned enough, left, went to Ukraine. So what I want to do now in 2025 moving forward is teach coaches in your tribe, in US, how to be that trusted advisor and make the attorney and the accountant look better. So that's my focus. Real quick, in the interest of time, I know that was going to go fast. I've got a 5-week pilot program that I'm going to launch sometime this summer, and it's 5 weeks, $500, something like that. And it's an introduction to if you want to be in this lifestyle millionaire philanthropist, millionaire next door, Clampett's, Dolly Parton, Oprah Winfrey, Mackenzie Scott, those folks, but just the folks that have $1 million to 10 that you never know about, drive the same old Ford car they have for years. I'm going to show folks how to do that. And so that'll complement what you're doing in your retreats and your space that you're doing, Lori. So we're hand in glove.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because those people, personal growth, self-improvement, really learning to make an impact is what I want people to do, and helping people who already have the money do it. It's a step easier as opposed to having to help people learn to make the money and then make the impact. If someone's already got the money, it definitely makes sense to help them make the impact. And I think there are a lot of heart-centered. Maybe we need to have a heart-centered millionaire retreat somewhere. I think that would be a great connection. So I love that. And I'm looking forward to your 5-week program. When William we'll put William's contact info in the chat, and you can tell us how people could reach you as well. And
yeah, so find me. I have two, just Facebook and LinkedIn, and I need to update them. But it's William H. Tate. The H is important. And the H is for humanitarian, of course. So you can find me there.
Love that. Yeah, the H. Some other famous H middle initials I know of that show a difference. So William H. Tate, he can be found on Facebook and LinkedIn, and definitely find out about that program, because I know I'm going to be a part of it when it happens. Because when I met William, he was just really starting to figure out what he was doing, and we had a lot of deep discussions on, like, explain it to me. I don't get it. I don't quite understand. I think I get it now, and we've actually, I know we talked about having this family retreat on a cruise, on a cross-sea cruise. And I know you and I will be on another cruise together in November. We're going to be on the new media cruise. So I look forward to meeting your wonderful wife there. I want to let you know too, Memorial Day is today, and everybody has Memorial Day sales. And as I mentioned, I have this retreat coming, and I want to fill it sooner rather than later, because I don't want to. This is the first time I'm incorporating scuba into a retreat, so I really want to make this special. I want to make this kind of my prototype and see how it goes. And once I get it dialed in, we're going to be doing it a couple times a year all over the world. So maybe we'll be doing it in Bali or Fiji or the Great Barrier Reef or anywhere, maybe in Florida, somewhere local. So I want to fill it sooner rather than later. So I'm going to be offering a Memorial Day sale where if you pay in full before June 10th, the retreat right now is $4,000, which is an amazing price for a 6-day retreat, including your lodging, all your food, all your activities. So it's already a great price. But if you pay in full, it's $3,800 paid in full. You can bring a guest for $1,200. So it's only $5,000 for the two of you. Or if you don't want to bring a guest, you get $1,000 off if you pay in full before June 10. So I'm going to be releasing that and updating the webpage today. I'll put that information in the chats as well. And Plunge Into Possibilities is where you find plungeintopossibilities.com is where you can find that information. And like I said, I want to fill it up now so I can start planning and don't have to worry about filling it. Then I know who's certified, who's not. So I'm trying to get the right people there. If you really, if you love personal growth, if you love new experiences, adventure, creativity, and you want to get your spark back, it's the perfect place to go. I know, William, I wish you and your wife could go, but I think you're still going to be in Europe or somewhere at that time. So,
well, see, I'm eating my own dog food and practicing what I preach. We're 2 weeks from leaving. We're going to Poland and Slovakia, and then to the western edge of Ukraine, a city called Uzhhorod. And that's, if it's safe, Andrew, our 8-year-old, and I are going to be there in that city. And then my wife and her mother are going to take that long train to the middle of Ukraine, where we usually summer. where her home is, where she grew up and her tribe is. And then would just go back and forth, and we'll come back to the U.S. in September. But being able to take 3 months off and go travel through Europe is the lifestyle coach that I'm trying to show others how to do that. And when you have the right tribe and when you set things up properly, you can go and do that. So follow me, I'll show you.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Yeah, no, that sounds great. So, well, thank you, William. This has been great. It'll be, those watching live, thank you for being here. We will put contact info about my retreat, about William's program. Just remind in all the chats, it's live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. If you watch it on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. I will be putting up some shorts and some more videos and really everything. Every Monday, we will have Monday Mindset Mastery up there. Next Monday, I will be talking with Barry Beavier. Barry helps people age better. He really helps you, you want to stay young. He works on basically reducing the effects of aging so that you can be, young well into your 80s, 90s, 100s. So I'm going to be really interested to hear what Barry has to say next Monday. So thank you, William. This has been great. Hopefully we can connect before you go on your trip, and you will have an amazing trip. And I look forward to seeing you again in person in November on the New Media Cruise. And probably next February again at the Soulful Leadership, among other places. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Once again, please honor those who served, who lost their lives on Memorial Day on this day. And it is the unofficial start of summer in many places, so enjoy your summer and the start of it, and we will see you in a week.
Thank you, Laura. God bless you and your mission.
One thing I forgot, though, William, I did tell you, and I almost forgot, but I like to ask my guests if they would like to leave one thought before they go for people. So let me give you that opportunity to leave one final thought with the audience.
Yeah, just again, God bless America. We got problems. We got some real challenges here. But I mean, if you go around the world, if you worked in Africa and Middle East and a lot of places, the way I have, I mean, you come back blessed with the problems we have. I mean, literally, I'm going to Ukraine where the Russians are killing kids every day. I don't want my son to be, exposed to that danger, but they're just doing their job. They just want to be free, just like Americans. We want to be free so we can make our own decisions. We get through that. So again, that's what our Ukrainian people want. So Slava Ukraini, God bless US, God bless Ukraine, and thank you for the opportunity, Lori.
All right, thank you. Have a fantastic day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.